Hey yo, what's up people? So today we are going to take a look at the Moyu WRM V9 right here. So right off the bat, we have a really nice box. We have a lot of these really reflective images. So let us open the box. So inside here, of course, we have the cube and we have some accessories. There's nothing much in there, just the basics, We have a screwdriver to adjust the center travel distance. We have this little adjustment tool to adjust the tension. We have, for some reason, one extra part in here. And two, I think these are some sort of spacers to keep the core in place where we use the screwdriver. So let's get that out of the way. And let us look at the cube. So we have a really simple cube case. It pops open like this. And inside, we have the cube. So right out of the box, the cube will be really sandy and really fast. I've unboxed this already actually. So as you can see, I set it up a little bit. I put it at 8 clicks of tension, which is almost the tightest because right out of the box is just way too fast. So yeah, so without any further ado, let us go into the pros and the cons of this cube, and most importantly, should you get it. So one of the first things that I noticed about the cube is that the M slices feel really good. I mean, look at that. Yes. So this cube, the M slices are one of the most tactile that I've ever felt. Compared to the cubes like the Tornado V3, it is much more tactile. And the center is even more tactile compared to the Gun 12, 13 and 14. So yes, this is definitely the best M slicers I've felt in my life. They're just so tactile. And they just snap into place every time. You don't need to worry about overshooting, and it doesn't require a lot of force to go all the way. So you can just use as much or little force as you want and it won't overshoot either way. So it's accustomed to nearly every turning style. That's one of my favorite things about the cube. Now, if I want to look at something else, another pro I noticed about this cube is that it's really easy on the fingers. When turning, there's literally no resistance. Of course, we need to overcome a little magnetic resistance at first between the corner and the edge magnets to make a turn. But mid-turn, there's like no friction at all. So when you practice for, let's say, an hour, 2 hours for a competition, a lot of times, like when I practice with other cubes, I'll notice that my hands get tired, my fingers get sore, they might get painful. But with this cube, I notice that no matter how long I practice with it, my fingers feel great. It just requires so much less effort to turn. And same as the M slicers, it's suited for many turning styles. If you turn quite hard, or you turn like quite lightly, it tends to not overshoot too much and have a really tactile feel to it. So yeah, that's a really good thing. But then let's go over the disadvantages. So of course, the main disadvantage, in my opinion at least, is the adjustment system. You see, for the price, you can get many similar cubes like some gun cubes or like the Tornado V3 for a same price, but they have a much more advanced adjustment system. For the Moyu cubes, like this one, you still need to use a screwdriver to adjust the center travel distance. Of course, there's some justification around it, and some people praising it, saying that, instead of like 8-9 settings, you get 360 no matter how you rotate the screw. But in the end, I feel it's harder to get a really consistent setting throughout all sides of the cube. So yeah, that's one of the major flaws for me. And I guess the second of the flaw will be like, the feel isn't for everyone. You see, I'll say this cube, it's really different from the YS3M and the RS3M of the light. I'm talking about like the original RSVM, not the RS3M V2. So it doesn't feel blocky at all. It feels more like a gun cube when you want to compare the blockiness, but then it has some of that smoothness from the Tornado V3. So in my opinion, it's a really nice hybrid of all the cubes, but the feel just isn't for everyone. If you're someone who likes, smoother cubes where your moves flow together better, or you like silky turning styles, this cube might not be for you, because this cube it has more of a crunchy feel to it, and each turn is very defined. Each turn is very clear cut and crunchy, so you know, sometimes moves don't flow as well together. I guess this isn't necessarily good or bad, it depends on your turning style. It still is a really good cube, I can turn really well, but I guess the moves just don't link together, don't flow together as well, because it's more of, you know, really crunchy cube where every turn is really well defined by itself. So yeah, all in all, it's a really good cube, and I would definitely recommend it for its price, especially nowadays, since the Moyu is like spamming cube releases. We got like the RSVM V2, we got the RSVM V5 coming out soon, you know. The old cubes like this one, not necessarily old as in outdated, but older Moyu cubes, the price tends to drop a little. So yeah, so the WRM V9, right now, after all the other cubes Moyu release, is it still worth getting? I'd say definitely, especially with a lower price. And if you're a fan of gun cubes, I think you'll like this very much because it resembles the feel quite a lot while providing some more smoothness to it. So now, let us answer the final question. Is this the cube for you? Now, I'm sure a lot of you who are hesitant to buy this cube or have not bought this cube yet is for one reason. It's because a lot of reviewers that said that, oh, this cube is too fast, this cube is unusable, it's unreasonably fast. Well, that is both right and wrong in its own sense. That is because, in my opinion, the product Moyu was going for was not and never intended to be a cube that is usable right out of the box. I believe they intended to deck out the cube with all the technology they had, with no upper limit of speed, and leave it to the user to set up and customize it to their liking. So in my opinion, if you're a more experienced speed cuber and you have knowledge of how to set up a cube, and how to slow a cube down, this cube is very much worth getting. But then if you're a beginner or you're a more casual cuber without access to lubes and the kind, and we just want a cube that's nice out of the box, I think maybe you could pass on this cube. Because for real, out of the box, it is literally unusable. It is too fast. But with just a little bit of setup, just some silicone, some speed, and a little bit of silk, it performs amazing. And it's one of the best cubes I've ever tried. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on the cube. Okay, let's try some scrambles. So I got a really good one right here. Okay, let's go. Nice, that was 11:48. Nice, that was 12:70. So right off the bat, this cube definitely, it performs really well. It's just really consistent with the way it turns, and the magnets are strong enough to be perfectly reliable. So yeah, so far I'm really digging this cube. So yeah, in conclusion, this is definitely a cube really worth getting. So if you haven't got one yet, be sure to check out the Moyu WRM V9. Definitely top of the line, really high-tech cube, definitely competition standard, and way better than most of the cubes that I have tried, including cubes like the Gun 13 and 14. But that's just personal opinion, so if you really want to see if this is a cube for you, well, go buy one and check it out.